Hello everybody, today I'm going to show you how to become a mercenary in Mount and Blade Bannerlords. Why a mercenary? Well, a mercenary allows you to fast track the earning of money and renown and things like that. Puts you on a good pathway if you want to establish your own kingdom later on. Whereas if you become a vassal and you then break away, you will annoy a lot of lords. This way you get to make friends with a lot of lords as you're earning money and renown and influence. Now I am currently on a mercenary contract with one kingdom, the kingdom in blue here. The enemy is the kingdom in red. And when the peace is declared, I just zoom out and I look for a catapult next to a town, and that's where a siege is, and I go straight to that town and I sign up with one of the sards and continue fighting. So I continue making money, and as you can see, I've got 65,000k there, and that's after I've made some upgrades, some rather expensive upgrades. So when can you become a mercenary? Well, if you keep an eye on this clan tier here and you move your mouse pointer over it, it usually tells you when you can become a vassal or something else. So it'll tell you there. But when you first start, you're not high enough level, so you have to take on bandits. Once you get past that first level, you will suddenly start getting offered contracts. If you accept them, you'll be able to fight as a mercenary for that side. Or you can go up to any lord of any realm who's at war and say, I wish to fight for you for a right sum of money, and then they'll hire you and you'll start getting paid per battle. Now if you click on the crown, this is the kingdom screen for the kingdom you've actually you're fighting for. It gives you a little bit of information about the lords in the realm and stuff like that and whatnot. But what we're interested in is the leave kingdom button. If they declare peace, they won't need you anymore and you won't be earning any money. So you have to leave. At that point you click on leave kingdom and you can leave with no penalty. If you're a vassal, you would alienate most of these lords down the side here. But because we're a mercenary, we don't. We then zoom out. We found a catapult, we then ride to that location and we just talk to one of the sides involved in the battle about joining them and being a mercenary for them. Eventually, when you actually get to the point where you want to make a kingdom of your own, if you look for these independent kingdoms and take one of them out, you could take one of them out without alienating everybody else. So you can start with one of them, usually better around the edges, somewhere out of the way where you're not in the middle. That was in the middle of everything, so it's going to be attacked by everybody. So that's a bit difficult to get started. But generally speaking, the whole point of being a mercenary is to build up your renown, your reputation, your tiers, your money, everything. So when you do want to make a kingdom, you've got a large army with lots of bonuses. So what do we do first then? Well, first thing to know is where to put your points. Now you obviously need to put a few points into various weapons that you're going to use, but the key areas are charm, steward, leadership. Now these three here allow you to establish a good late game presence. They're the ones that give you your renown, your influence and other things. Steward, that's a good one for your armies and things like that. It says, if you look for all the steward things here, like early on especially, your party wages are 5% less. When you don't have a lot of money, that makes a difference. And when you're running around between contracts as a mercenary, you're going to find you need to save a bit of money because you haven't got an income. I don't have any workshops in this game, for instance. I don't have any traders. It's just me and my army, and all my companions are in the army. But all of these will give you benefits to your troop wages and other things with stewards. A steward is a good skill to take when you're managing armies. Leadership. Now, if you look at this one here, the fourth one along, the perk, the famous commander, increase your renown in battles by 50%. This one here is very important because your renown is what gives you your tiers. Your tiers are here, right, up here. Now, the higher that goes, the closer you are to being able to establish your own kingdom and run things. Obviously, the faster you get your renown, the better. So that first one there, I pointed out, or the fourth one there, the one you need 100 points in leadership to get, that's key. So you need to work towards that. Charm is just good for various things. You know, you make better relations with people and increase your influence, which can be used to spend on decision making for kingdoms later on. Now, if you're looking for various perks, anything that lowers the wages of anything and increases militia generation and loyalty is a good thing. But renown is what you want early on, and it's more important later on as well, since it affects, you know, your tiers, like I said. Now, if we go to companions here, you can see I've got 3 companions here. If you were to sort of like just click on a town and go to a town and just try talking to every lady in the castle and just express an interest, eventually you'd find one that wanted to marry you, and then you'd be having kids even without being a member of their faction. All you have to be really is a mercenary signed up to their faction, and then some of the low level ladies would actually start taking an interest in you. But if you're not in their faction, the chances are they will not show any interest. So bear that in mind. As a mercenary, what you're basically doing is you're running around looking for fights, and the best way to do it is not to get involved in big battles, because you're not going to get much from that. You're only going to get a little bit of loot from that, because it's going to be shared amongst everybody else. Same with castles and things like that. You're basically spending more money attacking than you would be getting back at the end of it. So we don't do that. Now here's one. Hey, look, he's on his own. I'm on my own. It's fairly even. Let's see if we can get to him before he gets to that castle. It doesn't look like it, does it? There we go. We're going to have a quick battle here, and you can see the loot we get at the end of it. Now bear in mind, we're always looking for individual targets that we can take on without assistance. So let's do that now. We're still checking that because this is a campaign game. It looks like we've got a slight edge. So let's attack. Now we've attacked on the slope here. So first thing we do, we'll have a look around. Which way are our guys facing? They're facing that way. So we could, if he's going to attack us, we want him to attack uphill. It's all about the same, isn't it? But we'll put our men up here. Remember, we can still march forward if we have to. That's not an issue. So archers behind, higher up. And I'm going to have everybody else follow me. Ready. Don't forget here as well, you can assign your lieutenants by clicking there. Actually, don't want one there. I want to be in this one. He can be in that one, because I want the cavalry to follow me. There we go. So now any bonuses I give to cavalry will apply to those men. Now we're going to try and take out his cavalry ourselves. Remember, this is where we get our money from, so this is what we want to do. When you're actually going through infantry like that, a two-handed weapon is usually quite good. You usually have quite an effect on the two-handed weapons. Just bear in mind though, they'll hack your swords and everything, well, hack your horse. Archers are the worst. Taking a bit of damage there. And we get points on tactics, which is good for simulations by issuing orders and things, and also by allowing simulations to take place instead of fighting battles like this. So keep that in mind. Actually, I think they're all going to sit on the top of that hill, aren't they? Yeah. these guys get up there. There we go, right.
Soldiers!
Archers.
Troop attack!
Cavalry charge. Oh, infantry charge. And me, I will use my lance a little bit. Pretty sure I had more than that left. Yeah, 40 did.
Troops! Forward!
Only problem with charging archers on a horse is they do tend to hit you a lot. So any bonuses you get that reduce the damage of archers, you know, on yourself, it's a good thing. We're winning now decisively. Archers on the hill there, firing down there.
Soldiers!
Looking up a bit.
Forward!
Should just about be it.
Troops!
There we go. Now, as a mercenary, taking prisoners doesn't really benefit you because you get money and renown by taking these guys on armies. As a king, having them running around with an army is bad for you. So as a king, you want to take them prisoner, but as a mercenary, you want to let them go. So they're always out there for you, someone for you to fight. Also, every time you do, they like you a little bit better. So when it comes to you establishing your own kingdom, you'll have lots of friends out there. So you see, he's up to 37 now, so I've obviously defeated him before. Now prisoners, we'll take as many prisoners as we can. We've got quite a few of them. As a mercenary army as well, we want a good army, so we shouldn't be afraid of paying out a large sum of money for the army there, because we're going to get it back from victories, so that's not a problem. And always keep an eye on your equipment as well, see if you've got any here that would be a good upgrade for you, and check all your companions. Now just to recap, it says first of all you want charm, steward and leadership. Now tactics is a simulation skill mostly. It helps us in various situations, like you got 10% more damage in snow and forests, and troops deal 5% more damage in open grounds and terrain in the steppes. To be honest, if you're in a forest, it's usually a bigger fight, so we'll go for that. I say a bigger fight, it's a harder fight because the forest makes it harder, so we'll take that. But anyhow, steward, leadership and charm. Medicine if you want to heal your troops. Then a few points in your favourite weapons. Two-handed weapons cause the most damage but are harder to find early on. I find you usually have to start making them if you want them early on. So you'll probably start one-handed weapons and stuff. Trade, I usually bother with that, but to be honest, it's very limited in its scope right now because of because of the changes to the game. I'm finding trade isn't really paying that much, so I avoid trade now. Athletics and horse riding. Now, these are two interesting ones. If you hit somebody with a sword whilst on horseback, you'll get a one-handed weapon point and you'll get a riding point. If you do it whilst on foot, you'll get an athletics point and you'll get a one-handed weapons point. Same is true for bows, 200 weapons. If you're on the foot, it's always going to be athletics, you get a point in. If it's on a horseback, it's always going to be riding. So there's the way to go. And if you want to get 200 weapons early, start with the smithing skill. Smithing skill, you basically, you figure it out, it's not too hard. But basically you need lots of wood and metal and things. And you can disassemble weapons as well to learn the parts. And that will allow you to make better, more expensive swords later on. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, and says look forward to seeing your comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to become rich and powerful and make lots of friends and get loads of money and renown really quickly, being a mercenary is the way to do it. See you in the next one.